people are realizing that this so-called scam is nothing but a sham, and this ED is basically extorting money from people, businessmen, and this money is going as electoral bonds to BJP. Arresting Aam Aadmi Party's convener, Mr. Kejriwal, will go down in history as the biggest blunder committed by the Prime Minister. And if today Arvind Kejriwal resigns, tomorrow they will arrest Mamata Banerjee. They will ask her to resign. They'll arrest Kerala Chief Minister, Karnataka Chief Minister. They'll ask them to resign. No, they will not resign. So in a way, Arvind Kejriwal's absence is also helping Aam Aadmi Party.
Hello and welcome. It's been 2 weeks since Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been arrested by Enforcement Directorate in the alleged Delhi liquor scam. In fact, Kejriwal is the only sitting Chief Minister in the independent history of India who has been arrested while in office. So he has been working from out of jail in last 2 weeks. So today we are with Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj, who is the Minister of Health, Urban Development and Tourism in Delhi government, and we'll talk to him about Arvind Kejriwal, his arrest, its impact and upcoming Lok Sabha elections. Thank you, Saurabh ji, for your time.
Thank you.
Welcome to Hindustan Times. So we'll start with the question. Chief Minister Kejriwal, who has been your colleague in the government for many years, is in jail for 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, if I may be correct. So how do you manage the government?
So first of all, I think it is known to everybody that most of the portfolios, or in fact all the portfolios which are under Delhi government, have been divided among the 6 ministers. Arvind Kejriwal ji as CM did not have any particular portfolio which was under him. So the things which are running into the departments are being managed by their respective ministers, who are all out of jail, fortunately. So it is normal. So I don't think there is any problem in running the government, because all the departments are headed by ministers and all these ministers are not in jail. So you don't need a chief minister into day-to-day affairs of the government. Secondly, it's a blessing that it's a model code of conduct which is running throughout the India. So you cannot bring out new major policies, you cannot take major policy decisions, you cannot make, you cannot convene such meetings, you cannot convene cabinet meetings where you need the presence of Honorable Chief Minister. So basically it's business as usual in Delhi.
So apart from being the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal also heads the party. So what is the challenge before the Aam Aadmi Party, since Arvind Kejriwal is in the jail?
Yeah, like I think many people say that Aam Aadmi Party is the fastest growing startup in the political domain. And yes, being our convener, the national convener of a national political party in jail when the country is going for national elections for Lok Sabha is unfortunate, and it is against the level playing field which has been mandated in the Constitution of India. It is against it. However, we are dealing with this challenge. Yes, there are challenges. However, one thing which has happened after 21st of March is something which was not calculated by BJP. So when the Chief Minister was arrested on 21st, for first few days there was a shock. And I think people in Delhi were basically assessing the situation. And I think many of them, even our sympathizers, believe that probably now Aam Aadmi Party will crumble and break into pieces, and you will not see Aam Aadmi Party or the government working. So they were keenly observing, and probably they were apprehending that yes, now Aam Aadmi Party will start disintegrating. But all our leaders, the top leadership in the form of Arvind Kejriwal, the number 2, Mr. Manish Sisodiya, then Satyendra Jain ji, then even Sanjay Singh ji, everybody was in the jail. So everybody was apprehending this thing, and there was almost no communication, from the people. They were all silent. But when from 22nd of March they saw Aam Aadmi Party, MLAs, councillors, volunteers, ministers struggling on the roads of Delhi, being arrested, detained by police, taken to jails, and next day again we are on the road, then it started building up confidence among the people. Yes, Aam Aadmi Party is here to stay, and they are fighting back. And then I could see that probably from 24th or 25th there was a wave of sympathy for their chief minister, that there is a guy who is an IITian who was an IRS officer and he left his job, he started his NGO, then he was a RTI activist, he got Magsaysay award and he built his party from the scratch from the Ramlila Maidan of Delhi. So Delhi people are first hand witness of what all happened in Delhi since 2011. And the same hero of theirs, at least 54% of people in Delhi consider Arvind Kejriwal as their hero. If that hero is behind the bars, there is a sentiment attached to it. And now what I can see is that there is a strong sympathy for Arvind Kejriwal. Even though he is behind the bar, his absence is also helping.
So, you rightly said, this was something, Arvind Kejriwal's arrest was something that the party had predicted. I remember you announcing it days before the arrest.
We knew it. Mr. Jilani, we did predict from November itself that Arvind Kejriwal will be arrested as soon as he presents himself to ED. He will be arrested. But somewhere when the model code of conduct came in, it was a very strong belief among everyone that now, because it's an election commission which is in theory heading all the agencies and all the machinery of the central government, we believe that the agencies will not go ahead and arrest a convener of a national party.
There is an allegation that BJP government or the central government was afraid of the fact that he will go to states and campaign for India Alliance. Now he's not there, especially in Delhi, where Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party are contesting jointly, and he happens to be the most prominent face. So how do you deal with this, his absence as far as election campaigning is concerned?
Well, it's sometimes even I wonder about few things, that there is a political party which is in center for last 10 years and they are claiming, and none other than the Prime Minister and the Home Minister are claiming, that they are winning more than 400 seats in the Lok Sabha elections. And then I see a desperate BJP which is out to arrest all opposition party leaders, including the sitting chief ministers of 2 states. So I wonder whether they are winning 400 seats or they are desperate to even cross the majority mark. And I think the latter is true. They are not confident this time that they will even cross the majority mark. That's why they are out against all opposition parties, whether it is about seizing the accounts of Congress Party, whether it is about income tax notice to the CPI, whether it is about continuous hounding of opposition parties and their governments in West Bengal, Kerala, booking Kerala's chief minister's daughter in PMLA. So I think this is a desperate move, and yes, probably the calculation of BJP was that if Arvind Kejriwal goes out to different states and campaigns for alliance partners of India, then it can be a trouble for BJP. I think if Arvind Kejriwal goes out and starts talking about electoral bonds to people, then I think it can be very challenging for BJP, and BJP, which has been playing on the pitch of anti-corruption, this brings a big question mark on their credentials, because they are the ones who have received crores and crores of money from the companies which were under scanner of ED and IT. And Arvind Kejriwal could have easily turned these tables against BJP, and I see it not as a coincidence that on 21st March, after being arm twisted by the top court of India, the State Bank of India and the Election Commission were forced to disclose electoral bond details at around 6:30 on 21st March, and at around 7 p.m. on 21st March, the ED was knocking the doors of Arvind Kejriwal, and then this electoral bond news, this narrative, was basically all faded under the news of Arvind Kejriwal being arrested, and probably that was basically a spin BJP wanted to give because they wanted to manage this news.
Okay, so you briefly mentioned it, talking about Enforcement Directorate and the other agencies. We saw a rally in Delhi where all the opposition parties came together in support of Kejriwal and other opposition leaders. So, and at the same time, we saw, Supreme Court giving bail to Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh, and Supreme Court literally questioning the Enforcement Directorate about money trail and whatever has happened in the past 6 months. So, what is your faith in the judiciary? We know it's still in trial court in case of Arvind Kejriwals.
So all hopes are now on the judiciary, and the way the PMLA is being misused across the country, I think it is only the judiciary which can see through it and which can put a brake on these unbridled powers being enjoyed by the agencies like ED under the guise of PMLA. And the way Mr. Arvind Kejriwal explained in the court, he was himself arguing his case at the trial court, and he said that there are basically 3 main witnesses against me. One is Mr. Sharath Reddy. Now Sharath Reddy is a son of a billionaire who owns Aurobindo Pharma. Aurobindo Pharma is like 25,000 crore company. Now this Sharath Reddy gives a statement on 10th November 2022 that he doesn't know Arvind Kejriwal, and Arvind Kejriwal has nothing to do with so-called excise scam. And then he is arrested. And now imagine a son of a billionaire is behind the bars for 6 months. He gives multiple statements and there is no link with Arvind Kejriwal, but after 6 months behind the bars, he breaks down and he says what ED wants him to say against Arvind Kejriwal. And then he is granted bail, then he is made an approver, then he is given pardon, and then he gives 55 crore rupees to BJP as electoral bonds. And nobody in this country knew about this, only BJP knew it from day one, because there was a wheel of electoral bonds which Supreme Court lifted. So I think this makes it so open that all these so-called witnesses were earlier the kingpins of this so-called scam. They are all accused of money laundering. In their evidences, they say nothing about Arvind Kejriwal. They are forced, they are put into the jail. Then they say something against Arvind Kejriwal and they are released. They are giving pardon. They are getting, BJP is getting money from them. BJP is giving tickets to them. So I think it is mockery of law. And people are realizing that this so-called scam is nothing but a sham. And this ED is basically extorting money from people, businessmen, and this money is going as electoral bonds to BJP.
Opposition, especially the BJP, is talking about that the government has no right to, he has no right to run the government. And there have been petitions in the courts which have been rejected. And
yeah.
Some BJP leaders have also written to the MHA, requesting. So how do you deal with this, allegation that Kejriwal cannot run the government of the opposition?
Even the framers of our constitution could envisage that there can be a situation, a political situation where a political adversary can put a sitting chief minister behind the bars. You cannot take away his office just because somebody is conspiring against him and putting them behind bars. And there can be hundreds of such situations now. Look, if today Arvind Kejriwal resigns, tomorrow they will arrest Mamata Banerjee. They will ask her to resign. They'll arrest Kerala Chief Minister, Karnataka Chief Minister, they'll ask them to resign. No, they will not resign. People have elected Arvind Kejriwal as their Chief Minister. People want him to continue and there is no legal bar for him to continue. The legislatures of Aam Aadmi Party like me, we have full faith in him. We are the ones who have to elect the Chief Minister again. If we are asked to, we will again elect Mr. Kejriwal.
Aam Aadmi Party is also contesting the Lok Sabha elections. It is a national party, as you said, fastest growing startup in India's independent history. So how do you see Aam Aadmi Party doing in Lok Sabha elections?
I think with the current scenario in Delhi and around, I think there is a very strong feeling among the people of Delhi that they have been cheated by the central government. They did not expect this from the central government, that they will put a sitting chief minister behind the bars And I think BJP is realizing this mistake. I'm sure BJP is a professional party. They must be doing their surveys, and it must be showing up in their surveys because it is showing up in our surveys. So it will definitely show up in the surveys of BJP that they are losing ground in Delhi. And what I understand from people from other states, when I talk to the politicians in other states, even they are getting benefit of arrest of Mr. Kejriwal. There is a angst among people against Bharatiya Janata Party, and I think this will help us in Lok Sabha.
So on ground, Kejriwal is not the face for now, at least.
Yes.
Who is the face of Aam Aadmi Party?
So if you see, when Arvind Kejriwal came back and he did deliver a speech at party headquarters, on the podium there was Mr. Arvind Kejriwal behind the bars. When you could see Ms. Sunita Kejriwal delivering her message, there was Arvind Kejriwal. And today when Mr. Sanjay Singh did a press conference from our party headquarters, the backdrop of Aam Aadmi Party had Mr. Kejriwal in those squares. So I think Arvind Kejriwal is the face of our campaign, and even though he is behind the bars, he is the face of the campaign.
Where do you see Aam Aadmi Party in next 2-3 weeks?
I think going by a usual progression for a party, our roadmap would have been like, we are in one state, now we are in 2 states, we have few seats in Goa, few seats in Gujarat, then we may win 1 or 2 states, and probably it would have taken us few more decades to be in power in at least half a dozen states, and then aspire to get into center. But I think this is the kind of disturbance, or this is the kind of
Distraction.
how do I say, this is the kind of impetus. These are the kinds of unnatural circumstances which can put Aam Aadmi Party on the center stage without going through that natural progression. And I think arresting Aam Aadmi Party's convener, Mr. Kejriwal, will go down in history as the biggest blunder committed by the Prime Minister. And I think this will give that much needed impetus to Aam Aadmi Party to be seen on the national arena very soon.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you.
So this was Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj, who is the Minister of Urban Development, Tourism and Health in Delhi government, led by Arvind Kejriwal, who is behind the bars. Keep watching LiveMint for more such videos and interviews. Thank you.